welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Ron.
And LaWanda's out today, but we're going to hold down the fort for her. Today we are talking about SnowFall. Last night we seen SnowFall season 5, episode 6, and it was titled The Illiad Part 2. So if you guys hang tight, we'll get started. And like I said, we are talking about SnowFall. This 6th episode was a continuation of the 5th episode. So we seen Franklin caged up, hiding, well, not really hiding, he's being held hostage after this crazy thing that's gone down. And it seems like the taxidermist that still has him held, and it's this whole episode is kind of crazy because we're like, the lion and being caged and running away from the gangs, and it's like all of these series of like terrible events after they get shot at. So it's like this story is so crazy, and I think LaWanda said this last week, either it's so crazy that it's true or it's so crazy that I don't know where they came up with this from.
Listen, I live tweet the show, and there were a lot of people that was like, the Tiger got mixed reviews on Twitter. I think we should give the Tiger the game ball because
right,
it came through. The Tiger slid for Franklin.
Came through twice.
Twice.
Yeah. He slid for Franklin, so I think he gets the game ball. But basically, people were back and forth about the Tiger, just saying like, it doesn't make sense that a tiger would be in South Central LA and stuff, but you just don't know what people are doing, because I read this article and I looked it up again today. In Maryland, this man was found dead with a collection of 125 snakes, exotic snakes he had no business having. And one of them bit him and killed him. That's what they found him in his house. And so I'm just saying, you just don't know what people are doing.
Well, yeah. I agree with what the person said, because when you look at a neighborhood like, any neighborhood that is, urban neighborhoods that are compressed with people, tigers make a lot of noise, and they're going to growl, they're going to do all sorts of things. And the neighbor next door, you got to be an idiot living next door to a person with a tiger and not call somebody and say
animal control, right?
or police, and say, look, this dude got a tiger in his backyard and we need to do something about it, because as you saw, the tiger was roaming free and he already had a taste of blood. So that's a dangerous
he got loose.
Roaming the streets.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that after Franklin gets away from the taxidermist's house, then something else terrible happens. The gang rolls back up on them and like demands to know where the money is. And so I'm like, I don't really understand the purpose of this storyline and it going the way it did.
I think it's a filler. I agree. I mean, it seems like it's a step away from the storyline that they've come up with prior to episode 5. So, and it could be, and I don't know, I don't even know how much it has to do with the Illiad. So,
you know what? I kind of see, as weird as it was, those circumstances bonded Franklin and Gustavo.
Well, they did. Yeah. But I was thinking like maybe the taxidermist would serve like some kind of purpose. Like I think last week I was predicting that maybe he would be of some use to them, and maybe they could turn a negative situation into something useful. But I mean, that was deaded when he was deaded.
Yeah, well, he did serve a purpose. He served as cat food, and so that's a good purpose.
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just starting to say, you would think that there would have been some bondage with he and his little cat or big cat, but that cat didn't give a rat's who he was. You know, I mean, there'd be no way, and you know what, that I would house an animal like that because they're wild. They don't have any, you know, reverence to you or anything else.
But you know, to speak to Tiffany's point about the bonding experience, we heard Franklin, like when they were in there and things weren't looking good for him, he talked about the ultrasound and how he was supposed to attend with Veronique, and he was talking over that with Oso. And so it seemed like that drive to make it to that next day kind of pushed him. And I think also he kind of empathized with Franklin. And then even later on, after they were finally released, when Franklin was able to take the guys back to the tiger and get rid of the gang, and he went to rescue Oso. And I'm like, Oso was like, I didn't think you would come back. Like, they didn't have much faith that the other would return. And so the fact that Franklin came back for him, he was like, you know, I wasn't expecting it. I think that it endeared him to Oso. And then he talked about like the whole situation with Reed, and they were kind of questioning, like, is he coming back? Is he dead or alive? And Oso's like, I mean, he's going to outlive all of us.
Well, you know, when Oso said that, two things kind of hit me. One, what you just said, but the other, you know, if let's say Franklin did take them back to the money, they probably, in my opinion, they would have killed him right there. They probably.
Oh yeah, they was gonna get that money and be out.
Right, and I think
Franklin would have been out.
Right, and I think that's what Oso meant. You know, I didn't think you were coming back. I thought you'd be dead. You know, it was smart of Franklin to take him to the house with the tiger. Now, how he knew or even imagined that tiger would be loose and do the job it did, because the tiger knew exactly who to take out.
Yeah, because it could have eaten him.
Yeah.
You would have thought it would have gotten him first because he walked toward the cage. So wherever the tiger was, you know, he was like first man in. So you would think that the tiger would have jumped him, but no, the tiger jumped.
Right. Like I said, the tiger slid for Franklin.
But you know what? Did you guys hear the part when Franklin and Oso were talking, and Franklin was talking about how Reed had been spying on him, and
that's what I was
Oso
going to
didn't
say.
seem like he was aware.
Yeah.
So
He wasn't aware. That's why I was going to say the fact that they are bonding. You know, now they both realize that Reed is up to something, and clearly something that does not involve either one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that he can't be trusted. Now, I think it's going to be difficult for Gustavo because while Franklin has, you know, endeared himself to him by rescuing him and everything from the guys, Teddy also came through for Gustavo before, because when Gustavo's brother was killed last season, Teddy rolled with them and they went and avenged the killers. So in that situation, you know, I thought this episode kind of was put in this place so that Franklin and Gustavo could get closer, and I think they will. But if the goal is to take out Teddy in the end, will Gustavo be down? Because
he's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
You know what? I think he would, and I'll tell you why. I think because he sees a lot. Remember what he said to Franklin. You know, I think he sees a lot in Franklin, and I think he knows Teddy's role. He knows that Teddy really doesn't give a hoot about anybody, really. You know, yeah, he'd help me at that point, but I think if I was Gustavo, I would, if I had to choose, I would choose Franklin, because
he has to avenge his brother.
But I think the part of it is, I think that Gustavo might realize that he's expendable to Teddy, and that maybe Franklin would be more willing to go out of his way to really ride for him.
Exactly, because he proved that coming back.
He did.
And so, you know, no matter how because that was an ugly situation the two of them were in. And for Franklin to come back strong the way he did, you know, that's got to ride. That's got to ride with Gustavo. You know, Teddy, yeah, he helped me. But, you know, to Teddy, once you become a loose end or insignificant, he's not going to have you around.
Well, that's why Parissa better be careful. She's treading on dangerous waters, trying to, blackmail him. And then this week she doubled her price after finding the cocaine.
And she trying to seduce him.
Yeah, I mean, she admitted
She
that
don't
they
just
had,
want money.
the backstory was that they were kind of together in Tehran, and he was already married, and so she didn't pursue him because of that. But I mean, now she is really putting on full court press, like he is.
Now the question
tapped out.
And the question is, will she ever let him go? I mean, it's like she wants to hold him captive. She
sedated him pretty good.
Yeah, she did, and to me, I think she's going to keep doing that for a period of time.
Well, because he was in pain and stuff too. He was over there whimpering, so she was trying to,
well, that was
relieve
cool.
some of that pain.
Yeah, that was cool. But then, she straddles him and wants to kiss him and all that other.
Oh, she crazy.
Yeah,
well, he kissed her back. Look, he didn't just. Hey. It wasn't a one-sided kiss. He did kiss her back.
He had no choice. I mean, you down there all drugged up and don't know what this woman gonna do. Yeah, I kiss her back too. But all the while, I'll be thinking like, how the hell am I gonna get out of here?
But she's very manipulative. So I feel like I'm trying to understand what's the end game with her, because she seems like she's romantically interested in him, but that could also be just her manipulating him.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but I know she better tread carefully, because Teddy is not the one.
No. Yeah, he was looking like, I mean, he returned the kiss, but at the same time he was looking like he was crazy. I'm like, oh Lord. Like, I just think he's just so mission oriented.
Yeah.
There's nothing going to come before that.
Mm-hmm. If he won't put his wife and kid before the mission, then he's not gonna put you before the mission.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy.
So once Franklin finally returns back to the club, they're all talking things over, trying to figure out who hit them, and they're suspecting Peaches. And so meanwhile, he sends Veronique home, and she's like, oh no, I can drive myself. And by the time Franklin returns back home, Sis has dipped out and left a note saying, I'm out. Like this, we never got to really see what the note said, but based on the conversation that Sissy had with her early in the episode, we know that, she was saying that basically Franklin and his lifestyle, she will always be in danger, and this would not be the last time that he will be in danger. So she took that to heart and rolled out. But she also gave Sissy some backstory on herself, and we hear that her mother was a con woman and had kind of involved her very early in her youth in participating in those type of activities too. So Veronique seasoned.
Yes. Soon as she started talking about that, I was side-eyeing the TV. I was like, and we saw the sonogram. So I was like, so I guess Sis is pregnant, but
I know some people was like, did she pay off the doctor?
Some people were saying that. I saw that online, including one of our spotters tweeted us and said that.
But the con woman addition to the storyline does make you question every detail about her now.
Yeah.
So if she really was, because you had the theory earlier that maybe she was an op and she's deep undercover. And so it wouldn't be hard for her to con some nurse into doing something for her, putting up a little fake recorded sonogram or something like that. I don't know if that technology was that good back in the 80s, but
because you would have, remember, she cut on the machine. She put the little gel on her, and then she cuts the machine on, and it shows the sonogram. Now, I don't know what those sonograms could do back then, but it would have seemed, to me, it would be a big lift to fake that in that pain. If you gave her just a picture, that's one thing.
Right.
But go through the whole process.
Right. So she probably really is.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think that she's faking or paying off. I was just trying to think through that storyline.
I was too. And several people online were still saying that as well. And one of the things they also said, one of our spotters tweeted us last night and said that they said that she was related, like she was a cousin or something of to Kevin. So they were trying to say that
she's in on it.
She may be involved with the guy Kane.
I don't know.
I don't
That
know.
would be
All I
interesting.
know is there's another heartbreak for Franklin.
Oh yeah, he looks so torn.
He's torn, and
He's heartbroken. Yeah.
yeah, that's another heartbreak. And I felt so sorry for him because she was so, as a matter of fact, not that I'm just leaving, but me and your baby are leaving until you can get out of this mess because
I mean,
you can't
listen,
protect us. Now, I know, look, I agree with her.
I
You know,
do too.
and Sissy said the same. Sissy said it right. I mean, she said, okay, if not now, when? It's going to happen again. And she's absolutely right.
Mhm.
So, and I think Franklin has, well, we know what he'll probably choose, but he has a great decision to make. Am I going to be with family or, am I going to let her go?
Well,
And
did you hear what Avi said when Franklin was kind of, telling him the situation with Veronique? Avi was like, I never really chose a family because I'm a soldier. And he's like, I kind of understood my place in this, but he was like, you can do anything, and that's your curse.
exactly.
And so, like, I kind of took that to mean like, even you can have it all. You truly could be in both worlds, but it's also a curse to you because of you're so good at it. It draws attention to the fact that you're so good at it, and you might be the target of many haters. But it could be taken anyway. But I was thinking too about Veronique saying that she would only see Franklin at work, and I'm like, if she is trying to distance herself from him in any danger, like nobody's gonna think. I mean, there's nothing stopping anybody from hitting her up at his place of business.
Yeah,
She's still going to be a target,
right.
But I understand, even with me side-eyeing her, I understand her position, being pregnant and everything, her taking that stance, like, hey, I got to do what's best for me and this child.
But I wouldn't even be willing to work with him because you're in his orbit. Anybody that's in his orbit is a target. So you really have to sever that relationship completely.
Altogether. I didn't think that made much sense either because, if I check your house and you're not at home, I'm going to check your place of work, because that's what people do. So you're not out of danger. You're just as much into thick of things. That's why I said she really broke his heart because, I don't know what kind of thought process she was going through, but that really didn't make any sense. You're not going to see him again at home, but you're going to deal with him at work.
Yeah.
Well, the thought process, well, I guess she hadn't, this gave her a sense of reality because what was she thinking dealing with a drug dealer on his level? Like, to quote your boy, Ron, Ghost James St. Patrick, he said, there's no retired drug dealer. I mean, this is the death or jail. And so her, like, how did you think this was going to end? Like, you're surprised that people are shooting?
Well, she said that she was naive for believing that he could truly have a clean exit and that it wouldn't affect her.
Right.
So, like, yeah, she truly was living in La La Land thinking that. I mean, if Grady had stuck around, maybe that could have been the case. But Reed is back and that changes things. So I think she had to pivot, now that the situation has changed.
And particularly with Kane now being out of jail and wanting revenge for his brother.
Yeah, that was something Tiffany brought out, I think last week, talking about Kevin's family member. And that people in the streets are not just going to let that go. And we know that, clearly the whole neighborhood knows that Franklin did it. And so word travels fast. And so not only was Kevin killed, but his cousin was also killed. And so that's two people of the same family, and you got to know somebody's going to be coming back for you. So the storyline with Kane is interesting because Franklin was actually kind of bought up by Kane, like that's his OG. And so it's interesting because you could tell that there's a love there. Like, if this had never happened, they really would have had a great bond. But the fact that this did happen, it's like tearing up a family. He caught them like little brothers. So it's unfortunate, but Kane is, Franklin tried to smooth things over and ask what he could do to make it right. And Kane is like, yeah, that's dead. There's nothing you can do to make this right.
We got another Kane too. We got another Kane. The Kanes are always the ones, aren't they? I feel like with him, almost lost my thought, but I lost my thought. Never mind.
No,
Okay, well, hopefully it
I
comes
was
back.
waiting to jump in, and I lost
my thought though, would I have gone to visit him, with his boys around like that? And I don't know if I would. I guess that was, if you were going to visit him, that was probably the best place. Public football game going on.
Mm-hmm.
That probably, I guess, would have been the best place to talk, because Kane is pretty pissed. So, and so now what do you do as Franklin? Do you hit him first, or because Leon was worried about starting a war, you're already in the war.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's difficult because I don't know if Franklin would if he should shoot first, because then that really escalates things. But you got to think too, Kane did come at his pregnant girlfriend and his mother and his crew and him. So that's a lot of people that got targeted. So it's kind of like, I mean, I don't know.
You have to hit him fast. You have to hit him hard. And unfortunately, he's already come at you, and he already said he's not going to drop it. So you really don't have a choice. If you want to know whether the war is on, it's on. So if you sit and wait, he may kill you and your mom and your girl, because they were only a hairline short.
Yeah.
RIP.
But so I seen an interesting theory floating around about maybe them getting Scully involved in the situation. And instead of them going directly at Kane, maybe they get Scully to do them a favor or something, or Scully's crew, somebody that wouldn't necessarily be somebody they see coming.
That might make sense, because I think if Scully talked to Kane, he might be able to squash the whole thing.
No, I think Scully would be
we
shooting.
talking about talking. We
Yeah.
talking about handling.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I think if Scully said, look, Franklin owes me something. He owes me, I owe Franklin, and I'm collecting this debt with you. Stay away from Franklin, or you're gonna have a problem with me. And he may not want that weight.
Well, we saw I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we saw the previews for next week, and it looked like Leon was talking to Kane. So I think maybe he was trying to cut a side deal and kind of talk him down, because he is their OG. But now I remember the thought that I was trying to say earlier. With Kane, I understand where he's coming from, because not only, we know what Kevin did. We know he sold the recipe to the Mexicans and stuff, and Franklin killed him by accident. But the reality is, Franklin didn't really suffer any consequences behind that. Like, he went to jail for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Daddy got him out. So from Kane's standpoint, he was like, wait a minute, like, he killed my little brother. He out here flying planes.
Yeah, he like, justice was not served.
Justice was not served. And I remember hearing on one of the interviews, or reading somewhere, Damson said that Franklin is worth like $100 million at this time. Like, he's 24 with $100 million, pilot's license. He living life, penthouse. And so I can understand why Kevin is out here like,
Somebody got to answer. Yeah.
Somebody got, yeah.
So what about the stash house? It was empty. And do you think Peaches had anything to do with that?
He was the only other person.
That's what they say.
But I think that if Peaches was involved, I think he was coerced. I don't think that he willingly did that to Franklin and them. I mean, I think he is sick. And because even when Franklin tried to ask him about Peaches, he did not say yay or nay.
Right.
But just his whole demeanor made me think that he may have coerced Peaches or whatever. Like, we might find Peaches. Peaches might be kidnapped somewhere. He might be dead. He might be in a hospital. Like, I don't think that Peaches willingly did that.
Right.
Unless, of course, like you all surmised earlier on, that he has HIV, and probably someone said they had a cure and it was going to cost this, and he took the money, thinking that he can find a cure for, for his health condition. So that would be the only thing. But other than that, I agree with you. I can't see him doing that, without having a heavy burden behind it.
Yeah. And you could see Jerome was like kind of blaming himself in that conversation he was having with Louis. And Louis like, no, we blaming Franklin for not catching Peaches, catching on to the fact that he was doing something like this. So Louis still has this thing where she's like pissed with Franklin.
Yeah,
And then Jerome kind of like takes it out on the guy that they're meeting up with. They're supposed to make the drop to him, and so like all of the buildup that Jerome has been holding in, he took it out on that dude's face.
He almost killed. He dropped him, and I mean Jerome beat the what out of that boy. And you know what? But he deserved it. You gonna walk up on Jerome like that. Jerome's a big guy. And that little dude gonna walk up on Jerome and think that it's, it's gonna be even. No, you got whopped, and
he was running his mouth.
Yeah, running his mouth, and then look at him flat out on the ground, bleeding to death. That boy got whopped.
Yeah. So
when Jerome did that, I thought of you, T, because I remember you had said that he had been real chill up until this point, and I was like,
oh, Jerome is back.
Yep.
And I knew it was coming because he was just like too calm or starting this season off. And it seemed like he had been really holding himself back from speaking his piece and reacting the way he normally would have. So now we see that, Jerome is stressed with a K, stressed. Okay. He ain't got time. He been shot at, they've been robbed. So, times are crazy. And so I think that really right now they should all still be coming together. They still have to settle whatever qualms they have amongst each other. And they really need to find Peaches so that they can settle this, because it's like so much up in the air. Like, is he involved? Did he put Kane onto this? Somebody still had to tell Kane about where they would all be.
Yeah,
you see, they snatched Diamond and them up too. They had them hemmed up too.
Yep.
Like
Black Diamond and them always come through in the clutch though with the information.
Yeah.
She said, she said, I gotta go. My babysitter is watching. She said, go ahead and extend that time with your babysitter. But I like those two. I don't know why, but there's something about them I like.
Yeah. So going forward, do you guys have any predictions, based on the previews or any just random predictions you think could come out before the end of the season? Because this is already episode 6. So we got about 3 more left. Got anything?
I'm just curious, like you, like who they'll use, or will they go at Kane straight up? Will they use Scully, or will whenever Teddy gets nursed to health, will Teddy do it?
That's a good one too,
because he, anybody that's threatening the mission.
Yeah. And Kane ain't been out but a hot second. It ain't too late to put him back in.
Right, and he don't know Teddy like that. I don't think he would necessarily see Teddy coming.
Yeah.
So that's an option too.
That's a good one.
What, that kind of makes sense too, because if I were Franklin, I would certainly have if we can get Teddy back to the table, and get him away from old girl, it would be smart for him to say, hey, look, I got this problem, which is going to be your problem sooner or later, because we need to stop this warring before it gets before it gets too bad. So I need you to take out somebody and take them out quick. So
but you got to remember, right now Teddy is believing that they might have had something to do with the hit. So how easy is it going to be to get Teddy back on board and convince him that you had nothing to do with him getting shot? Because I think Teddy is not going to come out of this the same Teddy. Like, I think he's going to be extra suspicious now.
I think that's where Gustavo comes in.
That's how I say Gustavo going to have to set that straight.
Yeah, he'll set that straight, and two, they all got shot at. I mean, bullets were flying around everywhere, So it would be foolish of Teddy to think that Franklin actually set that up. But who knows, but I think that's their out, I even thought about whether you would invite Kane in with Teddy in terms of, because Kane wanted to know who did you know to get out so quickly. I'm just saying it's
Mm-mm.
You do not put the ops on.
No.
Well, I'm
No.
saying hey, look, it's all the same game, and
Mm-mm.
I doubt he would, and I seriously doubt he would. I would more or less
I don't think Teddy wants any more people knowing who he is.
Franklin don't even want to put Louis on, so he ain't putting Kane on.
It's just a thought.
Yeah, and I'm still wondering what's going on with Wanda, because we haven't seen her in a few episodes, so I hope she's on the up and up.
Yeah, you know what? She was live tweeting and she said, more to come. We'll see her soon. And when I saw, when somebody tweeted us and made that comment about Veronique being possibly related to Kevin and them, I thought about, remember I told you I didn't like the way Wanda looked at her. There was like a look. And I was just like, I wonder if she's seen her before, maybe back in her crackhead days, did she observe some things? And I'm like, she's like, where do I know her from? And I don't know. I feel like there was something to that look. I may be reading too much into it. And
I can't disclaim that, but Veronique she's not a dumb woman. And if she were any kin, I think she would have said something to Franklin like, hey, Kane is out, just got out last week, 6 months ago. I think she would have been smart enough to kind of put two and two together, and maybe in the sense of how do you keep Kane from that conversation? I mean, I didn't hear or see any of in her reference talk. There didn't seem to be anybody in her life that, other than her mother with the con thing, that would be involved in that drug thing. Because when you get with Franklin, if you got somebody in your family that's doing exactly the same thing, to me, that would be a conversation.
Well, she did mention that her dad died. Now, they didn't say how he died, but we don't know his backstory and what he was involved in. But if mom was a con woman, then I tend to believe that maybe dad was a little shisty too.
But you can deal with two. But I don't know, because she never said. Did she even say at what point her dad died, how old she was?
I don't know how old exactly, but she did say that after her dad died, her mom would take her to carnivals, and that was kind of like her training grounds to start scamming.
Yeah, that's a whole new trick, but a good trick. Her mother must have been good at it.
Yeah, so overall I enjoyed the episode. It was a little outlandish with the tiger at first, but I'm glad like the storyline kind of came back to reality.
Yeah, it's back. I think Gustavo,
I don't know. Like I said, that whole tiger storyline, I would love to ask somebody from the show, Damson, you're welcome to join us one of these days. But yeah, I would love to know like how they came up with that.
That's some good writing. But I think Gustavo's going to go. I don't think he's going to last.
That's sad, because I actually like Gustavo.
I like Gustavo too.
Yeah, I think he's expendable, and I think it may have something to do with Teddy, and maybe Gustavo joining forces with Franklin.
That's possible, and I wonder if Leon is going to make it. I mean, even maybe not even getting killed. I wonder if Leon's going to end up in jail, because I still am thinking about the fact that cop told Louis that you gotta give somebody up.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking, I was just like,
And we know Leon is like 1 foot out the door already. And so if it came down to it, because Kane was also Leon's OG too. So it's like if it came down to it and Franklin had to kill Leon, who he might consider family, I think Leon would still be looking at Franklin even more sideways. It's like, here it is, another person that we came up with that you have just killed and thrown to the side. Like, that does not make me want to be your friend if that's how you treat people that you've known and grown up with.
It definitely doesn't make him trustworthy.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, he has no choice. The man is after his head and everybody that he knows. So, that would be foolish of Leon to think that way. But,
I
Leon,
mean, but Leon told him in the beginning, he was upset with him when he first killed Kevin,
Yeah.
well, and he
so
had every right to be, because I didn't, I don't think it was necessary to kill Kevin at that
it
point.
was an accident. Because remember, he shot him in the leg,
Right.
but he hit an artery and he bled out. Like, he did not expect him to die. So it was not, he didn't mean to do it.
Right. I do think Leon is going to be conflicted though between this
Mhm.
Kane and Franklin situation.
Definitely.
So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, like I said, overall enjoyed the conversation. Do you guys have anything else to add before we close out?
No, do y'all didn't say either way? Did y'all think Peaches did it? You think he did it? Do y'all think he's guilty?
I want to believe that he's too sick to participate.
No, I mean,
See that too.
it's strange. It's very strange that money would be missing, and he's the only one other than Franklin with the key. So, I mean, that is extremely a hard pill to swallow. I'm hoping, like you said, Tiffany, that there was some, coercion that caused that. And I'm really hoping, but even if it were, I don't think that would sit well with any gangster because, you're supposed to guard that stash house with your life. So you're not supposed to have anybody come up and just, all because they threaten you. That's supposed to be a life or death situation. So it's interesting. I mean, this is one dilemma I would really like to see solved.
Yeah, well, Peaches would have to know that if the HIV or his illness don't take him out, then Franklin certainly would.
Yeah.
So it's a lose-lose for him.
I think he's aware of that because he was there when Franklin killed Ron, his
Yeah.
friend.
That's what makes it so hard to understand because, he knows that Franklin will kill.
That's why I think something is amiss.
Yeah.
I think something is amiss. I don't think Peaches voluntarily did anything.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you to everyone for watching. Please drop down in the comment section and give us your thoughts on this episode and also your predictions for the remaining episodes this season. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel, click the like button and the notification bell so that you're alerted every time we post. We're also on all social media platforms at The Spot Real Talk. And also be sure to go back and check out some of our other recaps and interviews. We have a lot of good ones, especially from the Forest cast with Anthony Fleming and with I'm about to call him Diamond. Isaac Key. Sorry, my mind is blurred. But and we also had our Aunt Louie interview with Angela Lewis. So check that out as well. You guys got anything else?
I think you covered it.
Okay, well, great. We will be back next week when we cover the next episode of SnowFall. So make sure you're back here, same time, same place. Good night.
Good night.
Like so. Yeah. Matic, just walk with us. Conscious. Talk with us. See, we be painting pictures and we be writing scriptures. Right. We was in the heights, OG tried to sell me Cartiers. With my crown, we some kings like a card in solitaire. Sticking to the script, that's what got us here. If you in the way, we stepping down like a barber chair. We was all downstairs, Molly vibe.